Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 51 weeks and counting, because the 1-year anniversary of our daily stream streak is 6 days away. The daily stream streak remains strong. I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next 60 to 90 minutes for today's coffee break. But before I begin with the main event of the stream subject, let me start with a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, during the intro, thank you to Snowy Shepherd Gotcha for sending a laughing disco ball to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure that they boogied the night away quite comically at your urging, much like a Yakuza dance sequence. Furthermore, Ethan the Chemistry, thank you for sending a picnic basket to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they are feeling quite satiated thanks to your generosity. Now, Steven Universe Fan, thank you for being the most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being the first chatter. Meanwhile, Terragull, Dr. Vera Lovelace, Legendary Doge, Froy, Silent Follower, Aoki, everyone who I have just named, thank you. Oh, as well as Amber. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Meanwhile, interns Alex, Penguin, Logan, Opal, and Master Chief, welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today just for being you. Now, reminder that today's stream is sponsored. It is sponsored by us here at Site 42. If you head to our Site 42 support beacon pinned in the chat or in the description of this stream, you can get your hands on the Reservoir Docs t-shirt at the scpstore.org, your one-stop shop for several SCP content creators' merchandise, including ours, where Dr. Alto Clef, Kane Pathos Crow, Theron Sherman, Jeremiah Sumerian, Benjamin Kondraki, and William Wallace Weddle on your chest space. Bring some fancy SCP doctors obviously up to some sort of containment scenario that needs the best of the best of the best, at your urging. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, enjoy your cool merch, and on with today's stream. So, today's stream subject. Oh, I will do you the favor of answering this one donation before we go into the stream. So let me do this, and then we will answer all donations and do the general Q&A after the stream subject. Just for you, cool show. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of pumpkin pie on your way past the commissary. I have a question. How would you contain the Cartoon Man if the SCP Foundation was in the Creepypasta universe? Also, not question. I love your videos. Keep doing good. Well, thank you for enjoying our videos. I will keep up the good work to the best of my ability. And I don't know what the Cartoon Man Creepypasta is, but I'll take just a quick look. Cartoon Man Creepypasta. Also known as Cartoon Man, is the main antagonist of the Tragedy of Toontown series, one of the most well-known characters on the channel. I don't know the channel, that doesn't help me very much. Does it have abilities of any sort? This wiki does not seem to be very thorough, which makes it difficult for me to understand what this thing is capable of doing. This is the Tragedy at Toontown creepypasta. Cool show, can you tell me what this thing does? The internet is not telling me that it has any sort of particular ability. And without knowing that, I cannot very well make containment procedures. Stephen Tambari, I hope it's not teleportation, although with creepypasta it always seems to be teleportation. They're just the most annoying to contain, if I'm being honest. Intern Chakin, welcome to today's live stream. This is the first of the streams you've made it to, so the algorithm has finally blessed you. Welcome to the SCP Foundation's live streams. I'm not seeing any other messages from Cool Show from today, which makes it difficult for me to answer this question. Desk, keep an eye out for Cool Show. If Cool Show 9001 has anything else to say on the subject, we'll move back to it there. So, today's stream subject, everyone. You'll see in the SCP Wiki, if you go to the SCP database, which is at the web address scpwiki.wikidot.com. If you come to the SCP Foundation's home page for the SCPnet database, you'll in the top left corner see a sidebar. And this sidebar has a secret that many people off-site do not know about. The feed. The feed is where you can find the newly minted, hottest off the presses, freshest SCP articles. We came over to new pages, and we find a list of all the new, recently posted SCPs, recently posted tales, recent artworks, recent group of interest documents, other pages, untagged pages. But this feed is where you are going to come to see the hottest, newest, freshest SCPs. And that's what we're going to be doing today. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, I wanted to weed out the chaff. What if I wanted to get to the good stuff? You can click on the top-rated pages. The top-rated pages will show you, oh my, this month's top-rated article is already at a plus 181. You're getting a plus 181 in your first month is pretty impressive. You can do the same of this for various tales, for groups of interest, for art pages, and our other top-rated and untagged pages, meaning those are new. But today, because we're going over these on stream, and I don't want to make this take all day, I'm going to bring us to the top shortest pages. The shortest pages literally go by character count and tell you how long or short the article is. What we're going to do today is we're going to hop into the shortest pages, and we're going to take a look at the first couple of SCPs available, and we're going to do a live critique session. Now, there is some rules involved in this. We are here in the support of the SCP community, the arts community. And what that means is that while I go over these newly posted SCPs, I will be judging them on their quality. This is true. I will be deciding whether I think they deserve to be on the wiki or not, and voting accordingly, as I have my one upvote or downvote to give. And you may also vote your heart on whether you like the article or not being on the website. You are always welcome not to vote if you don't wish to. But the one thing I will not tolerate is... you saw nothing. The one thing I will not tolerate is being a dick. Because we all know, in the SCP database, when you read the rules, the first rule, Rule 0 of the SCP Wiki, is don't be a dick. And so, no one here is going to be a dick in the chat. Desk will be moderating for dicks. There are no dicks in our chat. Agreed? Okay. Cool show. I do see your other donation. I am going to do the critique of the first of these articles, and then I'll do some general Q&A. I'll answer your question in that second donation. Thank you for donating again. Then we will go back and forth between doing a crit and answering some questions. We're going to go back and forth for a little bit. So let's take a look at our first article of the day. Our first article of the day is SCP-6197. Now, this has some interesting, visually appealing formatting. A nice photograph of a snowy town in the daytime. This is our... Wow. They are not making short SCPs like they used to. This has still got some heft to it. This will take up a bit of our time. But I said we'd be doing it, so we'll be doing it. Let's have a look-see at what we've got here. Item number SCP-6197. Classification Level 2, Restricted. Containment Class Euclid, Disruption Class Vlam, Risk Class Notice. The picture of the snowy roof, that was Figure 1.1. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-6197 is to be kept in a Level 5 item locker, modified to continually heat itself via 2 space heaters, which are placed at the west and east walls of the locker. Once per day, Area 74 technical staff are to inspect these heaters and perform routine maintenance as needed. If SCP-6197-1's item locker temperature drops below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, further heating is to be provided, and SCP-6197-1 is to be examined by a trained mortician to document any potential bruising or injury. We have to keep it warm so it doesn't bruise or injure itself somehow. Interesting. SCP-6197-2 is currently considered inactive. No containment procedures required at time of writing. Head researcher Monica Dove reminds those assigned to SCP-6197 that it is anomalous. Footnote, approved clearance detected. Personnel are to acknowledge SCP-6197-2 as an anomaly in all documentation and spaces accessible to researcher Monica Dove. Note that it is not actually anomalous. See Addendum 6197-2 for clarification. Signed, Area 74 Director Lopez. So, someone is saying it is anomalous, and someone is saying it is not anomalous. This is contradictory information. I am interested in knowing what this is for and why. Let's continue. Additionally, SCP-6197 is to be blacklisted from the internet through standard Foundation web crawlers. In the event a news outlet attempts to cover the circumstances surrounding SCP-6197, Standard Task Force Upsilon 1, codename Knockingbird, is to cease said investigation by whatever non-violent means available. Yes, my favorite Greek designation in the Mobile Task Forces. Certainly. Wonderful. Description. SCP-6197-1 is the cadaver of Bianca Dove, discovered at Chrysanthemum Inn, formerly situated in the Allegheny mountain range. Now, this has a different colored footnote. This footnote says depicted in Figure 1-1, but this is strange. We have red number 1 footnote, approved clearance detected, and number 2 footnote in blue. I wonder what the deal is from that. So now it makes me even more curious about this first red footnote, because researcher Dove reminds those assigned to the project that it's anomalous, but apparently the Area 74 director says that it is not anomalous, but we all have to refer to it as anomalous. And we'll find out more in Addendum 2. Interesting. Let's continue the document and see if we can find out more. SCP-6197-1's most notable effect is its violation of the second law of thermodynamics. It will continually cool at a cubic meter of air around it at a rate of approximately 5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour, and it will cool itself at 7 degrees per hour. SCP-6197-2 refers to several spectral class anomalous events which occurred at the Chrysanthemum Inn immediately before Bianca Dove's murder. Consult the timeline below for further information. This is red footnote 2. Note that this timeline is entirely compiled by researcher Monica Dove, signed Area 74 Director Lopez. Doc, I went to the same page that says 6197-2 is anomalous. So researcher Dove reminds those assigned to 6197 that it is anomalous. But if you go into red footnote 1, it says you are to acknowledge 6197-2 is an anomaly in all documentation and spaces accessible to researcher Dove. Note that it is not actually anomalous. So for some reason, we are lying to researcher Monica Dove. We are saying that it is anomalous, and we are letting them think it is anomalous, but it is not actually anomalous as the site director. That's where we are right now. Confusing. And so now we are going to look at the event description for SCP-6197-2. On October 2nd, 2008. Let me just double check that this is the correct... Is it October? Yes, October 2nd. Good. And on October 2nd, 2008, at 2200 hours, 32 minutes, Foundation monitoring post stationed about 20 kilometers away from the site of SCP-6197-2 detect an increase in Akiva/Eve levels, consistent with the manifestation of multiple spectral class anomalies. Due to the constant uneventful manifestation dissipation of such entities, this increase is not acted upon or related to the Chrysanthemum Inn. 1 minute later, spectral class entities are detected by monitoring post H6LP2W. On-site instance of Gladon.aic judges that the spectral class anomalies will dissipate without event due to their distance and irradiation levels. 4 minutes later, the spectral class entities move out of range of monitoring post H6LP2W. For reasons yet unexplained, the on-site Gladon.aic instance fails to report this to a higher level post. Footnote 3 in red. The spectral class entities were almost entirely dissolved. The fact that they managed to conjoin into a single entity and preserve their esophysical essence long enough to reach the chrysanthemum inn during the severe Allegheny weather is nothing short of a miracle and is literally unprecedented. Don't bother explaining this to Monica. I've already tried. Signed, Area 74 Director Lopez. Interesting. So, we're still lying or omitting facts from researcher Monica Dove on the orders of Area 74 Director Lopez. At 2200 hours 40 minutes, a text exchange between Bianca and Monica Dove, an SMS data dump, is attached below. After the conclusion of this text message exchange, the Chrysanthemum Inn and the Foundation monitoring post H6LP2W both ceased to respond or transmit any communications. Let's look at the text messages. From Monica Dove to Bianca Dove. Monty, I need help on something. What happened? B? Wait. Tried take photo, fail. Writing on window, no idea how. H6LP2W. What? Someone out? Don't think so, but it's hard, storm, impossible to see. Will query, locked all. Oh my god, yes. Maybe nothing. Don't freak over it, babe. Nothing. You said there's writing on the window in a fucking storm. Well, nothing happening, it's just strange. You know I can't take coincidence seriously with my work. I'll be fine, love, really. Well, I still worry. I get that, but don't worry. I'll be okay. Now we have figure 1-2, which is apparently some sort of den. We have a fireplace, we have some tables. And we return to standard documentation. At 2300 hours on October 2nd, 2008, so a few minutes later, immediately after the conclusion of this text exchange, a connection was made between 3 wireless IP cameras within the Chrysanthemum Inn and 2 computer terminals at Area 74. During this connection, no other programs could be run, and no other image rendered than the 3 real-time outputs of the cameras, which could be cycled through by pressing the Enter key. An example of such an image is produced in Figure 1-2, which we looked at, so that is a picture of the camera feed. Furthermore, yes, blue footnote 2, head researcher note, they were wired cameras. So, Monica Dove is claiming that these wired cameras were being connected to with wireless... No, the documentation is saying they were wireless cameras, but the head researcher is contradicting that by saying they are wired cameras. Now, in the third blue footnote, the 3 camera feeds are marked front 3, kitchen 2, bedroom 1. And so figuring that what we are seeing in the photograph we have is not a bedroom or a kitchen, it must be the camera marked as front 3. Continuing on the standard documentation. Area 74 technicians have been unable to reconstruct the circumstances under which this connection occurred, nor have they been able to reconstruct the program that was loaded onto the computer terminals. Research is ongoing. After some deliberation, Researcher Dove was allowed to use a computer terminal to view the connected camera feeds. Technician David Matthews and junior researcher Luis Monterosa viewed and attempted to debug the other affected terminal. At 2300 hours, 27 minutes, Researcher Dove alerts an attendant staff member, footnote, name blanked due to an ongoing ethics committee investigation. That's a blue footnote, by the way. That Bianca Dove is visible on one of the camera feeds. She can be seen looking out of a front window, knocking repeatedly. Dove speculates that the knocking is some kind of code, and after discussion, the staffer returns with a Morse code chart. The following pattern is discerned by researcher Dove. Footnote 4. In red, footnote 4, Monica's Morse pattern is almost certainly false. While Oswald wasn't able to get a coherent message, he was able to confirm to me that the knocking at the window was rhythmic. Monica herself, when interviewed, admitted that both that Bianca would frequently knock patterns of songs she enjoyed and was unversed in Morse code. If anyone wants to try and look at 5 pixels and make up a convenient message, be my guest. Personally, I will trust the judgment of common sense. So, the next one, blue, footnote 5. The character vertical line indicates an extended break between communications. So, we have a Morse code communication, or a supposed Morse code communication, even though Site Director Lopez is claiming that Bianca could not use Morse code, didn't know it, and would just tap song lyrics sometimes. But Monica is claiming that Bianca was typing a message, and the most likely translation for these errors comes out as, "Who are you? Are you okay? Do you need help? I can let you in. Oh God, talk inside." So, apparently this is not exactly that, and correcting for errors, it's possible there were biases in the translation. Let's continue. Note that according to researcher Dove, Bianca Dove was unfamiliar with Morse code, like we had in the red footnote. Note, 2300 hours, 41 minutes. One camera feed labeled Kitchen 2 displays static. No other changes appear to occur in the Chrysanthemum Inn. Technician Rupert Holden is able to display command.exe on the terminal he is debugging. The command terminal is quickly revealed to be non-functional. It is decided that resources would be better spent attempting to contact other sites to mobilize a response to the spectral class anomaly. At 100 hours on October 3rd, 2008. So we are now fast forwarding about an hour and a half. Junior research Luis Monterosa exclaims, "I saw her leaving the kitchen. No one else present is able to corroborate this, and Bianca Dove remains unlocated despite concerted efforts. No sites are available to respond to the threat. The Kitchen 2 camera is no longer accessible." So we are down to 2 cameras, the bedroom and the front. 7 minutes later, all personnel present report seeing Bianca Dove from the bedroom 1 camera feed. This is despite the fact that, as seen in figure 1.3, Bianca Dove is not visible in the feed. So I will show you guys the feed in which we can clearly see that there is no Bianca Dove present in this feed. Meanwhile, a blue footnote exclaims, head researcher note. I'm leaving this in the file because I've already raised this with Ryza and haven't gotten a mainline edit approved. But does anyone else see that it's daylight in figure 1.3? Please, I don't care who contacts me, but I need to know if you're reading this and you see the same shit I'm seeing. I've looked into where this image comes from, and I can't find any explanation given by the Foundation as to why this is the case, not even an anomalous explanation. Strike this down and write me up again, Lopez, I don't care. This is not from the fucking house. Why did you edit my timeline to say that it is? And yes, it does appear to be daylight in that photograph. Let's continue. Furthermore, when asked to recount what Bianca Dove had done, each witness gave conflicting testimony. A condensed version of each person's account is attached below. For more complete testimony, view Addendum 6197.3. Red footnote, meaning this is coming from Lopez. This collapsible section has been attached solely due to researcher Dove's persistent request that it be included. Note that these interviews are not considered reliable under the Foundation Handbook for Information Gathering. Signed, Area 74 Director Lopez. So we have assets 6197 Timeline dump 0107. Monica Dove. Bianca Dove went into the bedroom, put her hand against the window, and after a short time drew the curtains. As she did so, a black mass came out from the bottom crack of the door, coalescing vaguely into the shape of a woman with a large backpack. The specter entity proceeded to remove several survival supplies from this backpack. Discernible in low resolution were a first aid kit, a full-length machete, 2 spools of rope, several bags that appear to be military MREs, and 2 semi-automatic pistols. Bianca proceeded to converse with the entity for some minutes, and at the end of this conversation, hugged the entity before returning the supplies to the backpack and leaving view of the camera, walking hand in hand with the entity. Rupert Holden. Note. Bianca Dove went into the bedroom, closed the windows, and turned off the light. After a few minutes of low visibility, she turned the lights on again and began to rifle through a closet, throwing clothes onto the bed and taking boxes out from the side of the closet. After a few more minutes of this, Bianca stepped into the closet and closed it on herself. The bedroom 1 camera immediately cut to black and remained black for as long as it was operational. Louis Monterosa says, Bianca Dove went in the bedroom and removed a handgun from the drawer. She checked it over, and after presumably verifying that it was good, left the site of bedroom 1. After that, a black shadowy entity slowly appeared on the bed, maintaining a foggy appearance in the form of a featureless woman. This entity sat up, spoke to the camera for several minutes, and as soon as we realized it would be impossible to lip read with the poor camera quality, the entity instantly disappeared. Bianca Dove walked into the bedroom, tears visible on her cheek, and shot the headboard of the bed once with the handgun. She then turned around, looked at the camera, and appeared to shoot it. Staff member note. Bianca Dove went into the bedroom, opened the curtains, and looked out of them. Despite the low resolution of the cameras, we agreed that there were stars amidst the storm. She closed the curtains after roughly 10 seconds, opened the closet, and searched it for about a minute. She was not visible during this time. She left the closet carrying a large fur-lined jacket and boots. She sat on the bed, put them on, and then opened the window. A black, blank-faced figure entered the room. Distinct from the Spectre-class entity that originally followed Bianca, and Bianca appeared to speak to this figure for a moment before hugging and kissing it for an extended period of time. Finally, Bianca and the figure opened the window. Bianca exited through window, and the figure followed, closing the window behind it. The curtains slowly closed themselves. Bracket. Yeah. The mechanism by which they closed was not visible. So, a lot of, as they said, disagreeable interpretations of what was seen in the cameras. I'm gonna say, I'm very much so far enjoying the vibe of this unreliable narration between Monica and essentially the rest of the site, it seems like. I'm interested to see if it sticks the landing and resolves the mystery or not in an interesting way. It could resolve or not resolve, and both could be satisfying or unsatisfying depending on how it's played. So, I am interested. October 3rd, 2008, 0100 hours 15 minutes. Researcher Dove leaves her terminal saying, I can't do this anymore, I fucking can't. The staff member accompanying her also leaves the room for a 15-minute break. Blue footnotes. This staff member had worked for about 14 hours at the time of break, making the break valid under Foundation code. Junior researcher Louis Monterosa takes her place, and almost immediately after Dove leaves the room, Monterosa states that he sees a painted message on the front door through camera front 3. After a concerted effort, Monterosa, Holden, and Dove narrow the message to 3 possibilities. I see you, I got you, and IFH. So ICY space U is message 1, IGT space U is number 2, and IFH blank U is the third. So I see you, I got you, or IFH. The 3 unanimously agree that ICU is the most likely of those possibilities. FH, like I fucking hate you? You know, Dr. Frogman, not a bad idea. Not a bad thought. I wouldn't have thought of that abbreviation. Good work. The next one is at 1:22 a.m., 0100 hours 22 minutes. Bianca Dove is seen through front 3. All witnesses unanimously agree that she is in significantly worse physical condition than earlier, with visible wounds on her face, arms, and neck. The staff member returns after being called by researcher Dove and is promptly sent to attempt to contact emergency response mobile task forces. An RTF file is later discovered on both computer terminals with a timestamp of 0100 hours, 22 minutes, 25 seconds Eastern Standard Time. It is attached below. The asset is... It is a text file of seemingly a letter. For you, Moni. I've never been good at writing letters, but I hope I can give some idea of what's been happening with me, some idea of why I've done this. First, I need to tell you that no matter what it seems, I'm underlined okay. My body might be left, but my soul will be fine. I'll do my best to find you, to find a way to speak with you when this process is all done. But I can't tell you how long it'll be until I get to speak to you again. I'll be waiting for you, though. Please remember that. Second, I need to tell you that I can't tell you where I'm going. It's not just because of what you do for work, although I would be a liar if I said it wasn't partially that. Another better reason why I'm forced to keep my destination a secret is because, if I told you, there would be no way for me to return. Part of how I'll come back is by relying on you, and although I can't tell you what exactly I need for my return, I can, underlined can, tell you that I need you to live your life normally. Please don't grieve, because I'm not dead. Third, I need you to know that Nat will be okay. Nat, with a footnote number 8, a nickname for Natasha Dove, daughter of Bianca and Monica Dove. I know you think they're with me. I sent them with data redacted, footnote 9, redacted for privacy, non-anomalous individual, a day ago. She doesn't know what's happening, though. I'm sorry I levied that onto you, but it's yet another thing I'm powerless to change in this process. Fourth, I hope you can forgive me when I return for having left. I know, underlined, what we are planning to do, and I know how much it matters. And I know how much it's a betrayal to see me disappear of my own volition. I hope you can see when I come back how it was worth it, how I needed to do what I've done. I wish I could tell you so much more. I swear to God I do, but I just can't. I just want you to try to understand, and I hope you do when the end of this all arrives. I'm never not sorry for this, but I think it'll be all right in the end. With love, B. Drama, drama, drama. Family members, children, all sorts of entanglements. It just makes the work more complicated. It just makes all of the researchers emotionally compromised. I'm just saying. Rave Haven, we're on SCP-6197 if you would like to read along. Tambari, yes. B as in Bianca. In fact, I should clarify, it is BEA as the abbreviation, which I didn't think that B spelled that way would be an abbreviation for Bianca, but that's at least what I'm assuming is going on. At 0100 hours 23 minutes, Bianca Dove stands at the entrance to the Chrysanthemum Inn with a black visible spectral entity behind her. Blue footnote 10. Attempts to capture this spectre in imagery have failed. Contact is established with Site 898, but after discussion, it is decided that it is impossible to reach the Chrysanthemum Inn in a reasonable time frame without recklessly endangering site personnel. 2 minutes later, Bianca Dove waves to the front 3 camera and holds what appears to be a sheet of paper in her hands. She is seen setting it down at the side of the door and then opening the door to the Chrysanthemum Inn. Snow rapidly enters the Chrysanthemum Inn. Several items, including the front 3 camera, are violently expelled from the inn via what appears to be an explosive decompression. Footnote 11, blue. Note that this force from this explosive decompression was many times more powerful than the expected force. Visibility is severely obscured, but researcher Dove claims that, quote, she left the fucking inn with that ghost. This is not corroborated by the last available image from the front 3 camera, see figure 1.4, sent at 100 hours, 25 minutes, and 11 seconds. And honestly, I don't know how they could be seeing anything in here. Head researcher note, someone cut this portion of the timeline, so I'll fill in here. During a retrospective investigation of the events of 6197-2, technician Holden admitted on a polygraph examination that he did not contact other sites. This was in direct violation of chain of command orders. When asked why he neglected to contact other sites, particularly the geographically close Site 898, Holden states the following. We were under a lot of stress, and when we were working to try and figure out what to do, I couldn't recall any sites that would be remotely close enough to the Chrysanthemum Inn. And this is assuming that Bianca was in direct danger, which I completely disagreed with, to respond in time. When a quick Google search revealed that night was some of the worst weather the Alleghenies had seen, I reasoned there was no world in which a site would actually mobilize at 11:41 p.m. to investigate a minor poltergeist. It was a critical error in retrospect, but I exercised what I believe still was the best judgment I could have had exercised at that time. After extensive discussion with the Ethics Committee, it has been determined that the charge of violation of Title 1, Chapter 7, 1.2 should be removed. So, it seems that our researcher technician Holden here has been acquitted. Okay. Next up, Addendum 6197.1. After the events described in 6197-2's timeline occurred, SCP-6197 was officially classified. A preliminary file was written by junior researcher Monterosa and researcher Dove. After discussion, Site 898 agreed to travel to the Chrysanthemum Inn after the cessation of inclement weather. 3 agents from Site 898 departed for the Chrysanthemum Inn. You saw nothing. On October 3rd, 2008 at 1000 hours 25 minutes, arriving at about 1500 hours 5 minutes. Upon arrival, the Chrysanthemum Inn was documented to be in extremely poor condition. See Addendum 6197.5. And despite an extensive Akiva/Eve radiation sweep, the dissipation point of the spectral class entity accompanying Bianca Dove remained undiscovered. Within the Chrysanthemum Inn, SCP-6197-1 was discovered next to a sheet of paper. The contents of the paper are shown below. And the contents of the sheet of paper, struck through text on back of artwork, you would have loved Natasha's drawing B. She's prescient. Note that the note did not originate from head researcher Dove, despite similarities to her handwriting. So, this is Monica's handwriting on a note for B, who was in the lodge, and show footnotes. These are all the blue footnotes, but not the red footnotes. And that's the end of the article. So, what does this mean? What do we have here? Thoughts, feelings from the chat, since we're at the end of SCP-6197. I honestly have no words, which isn't a bad thing. Signed, Stephen Tambari. Well, in the discussion for the page, we do have the first person to respond saying, this is one of those stories where I'm incredibly intrigued, but probably need someone smarter than me to explain a lot of things. Still, I was pretty gripped throughout, so it's a solid +1. So yes, I am not exactly sure what all occurred here. If I'm trying to gauge out the mystery aspects from the clues we've been given, then I feel as if some sort of ghost It could be that a ghost was pretending to be the dead child of these two researchers and coaxed Bianca to leave with it, ergo probably die herself. Why did the picture have Monica's handwriting? Well, it could be the ghost was trying to fool Bianca into going with it. It seems to be a perception anomaly at first, but clearly something more complex is happening. So maybe many unreliable accounts, yet there's something to figure out. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and I'm scratching my head. And the author does not really shed a whole lot of light on the situation in the post. So is it anomalous? Well, we did have at the very least measurements of a spectral anomaly and several researchers noting a spectral anomaly on chems. So, at least in some ways, there's got to be something there. I guess my question first would be, why does Director Lopez claim it to be not anomalous? Note that it is not actually anomalous. See addendum 6197.2 for clarification. And we do not have access to addendum 6197.2. We only get the timeline event description of the -2 event, and it stops at attachment 1 and some footnotes. Okay, well, I'm going to put it like this. This story did give me the vibes of something I was actively interested in trying to unravel the mystery of. I wish I knew a little more what happened, and it's going to frustrate me. But overall, based on vibes, I'm giving this an upvote. I think they've done a good job. So I'm going to give that the doot of ups. Interns, Videos, and Chill Guy, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. And remember, if you are a member of the SCP Wiki, you are allowed to upvote or no vote or downvote on this article at your pleasing. So, reminder, you can go check on that yourself as well. All right, I'm refreshing the chat, and we're going to do some general Q&A before I get on to the next article we're going to look at. So let's get the chat refreshed so I can see all the new stuff. All right, cool show. Thank you for donating again to clarify your previous question, and I will give you the answer required now. So it's fast, immune to most weapons, it's unkillable, and acts like a cartoon, and it sticks to Disney World mostly. That's what I can remember off the top of my head. So, unkillable, we wouldn't want to destroy it anyways. Immune to most weapons? Well, I wonder what weapons it isn't immune to. Can we tase it unconscious? Can we shoot it with tranquilizers? Acts like a cartoon. Now, does it have Toon Force abilities? Because those are two different things. It might act goofy and zany and violent, but does it have comical Toon powers? Because if it does, that'll make it much harder to contain, which is frustrating. Dr. Will, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going back to the Cartoon Man web page that I was looking at earlier. I'm getting part 2, part 7. but it doesn't seem like anybody has broke down Cartoon Man in a way that explains thoroughly what it does. First thing it does is kill a rat and smear remains all over the floor of Minnie's house. Cartoon Man abducts a child and stuffs into the fridge at Minnie's house, where it's found dead by an unnamed protagonist. Attempting to flee Minnie's house, he is spotted by an unnamed custodian and once again seen by Goofy's barnstormer by vanishing into the forest. Well, especially because this anomaly is open at Disneyland, Disney World, one of the Disneys. We would need to do some good old-fashioned disinformation campaigns. I mean, Walt Disney World also has their disinformation campaign. No one dies on Disney property. Really? So honestly, we'd be collaborating with the mouse on that. Desk would also like to point out we can utilize some of that turpentine dip mixture from a certain Judge Dredd if we really need to put a tune down. Good thinking, Desk. Good thinking. Interesting. Let me try something real quick. I am hoping fiddling with the camera may have fixed any sound lagging issues that I've seen people talking about in chat. If your sound is lagging at this point, you should probably reset your YouTube application on your mobile device or website and see if the refresh cleans up the issue. Glad to hear that fixed the issue. All right, let me double check something real quick here. I just want to get this cleaned up. Gotcha, not important. Good to go. Back to clear. Fantastic. Intern Lil Guy, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself some shrimp puffs on your way past the commissary. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I'm going to tag you when I post my SCP. You're going to tag me where? But suffice it to say, good luck on your SCP posting. Make sure you follow the rules and the processes and the critique process and the green light process so that you do not break any wiki rules. That would be a problem. Tag me on YouTube. I'll do my best to find that, but I get tagged a lot on YouTube, so it's kind of hard to find them all. Rave Haven, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a package of cheesy poofs on your way past the commissary. Sorry I'm late, Director, on janitorial yard duty. And it's quite warm, so that. Desk would like to point out, Site42 does not condone any alteration or vandalism on the SCP Wiki on behalf of Dr. Sherman. Site42 SCPs are here only, as in the YouTube channel. If Dr. Sherman and I want them on the Wiki, we put them there ourselves. That is, yeah, don't vandalize pages on the SCP Wiki with inside jokes from the Site42 community. We are not the whole of the SCP community. We are a nice little corner that should keep to ourselves so we don't become too annoying, so to speak. Is the hair color the result of an intersection with an anomaly or your own handiwork? Oh no, intern Mond, I went to the on-site stylist to get this done because it looks fire. I did see someone out of the corner of my eye say woke blue hair, and well, I mean, I guess if having... Is this really blue? I kind of thought it was green. But people keep telling me it's either blue or green. I don't know the difference. Suffice it to say, I mean, I was woke before I colored my hair too. So there is that. Nightmare Bonnie, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself an omelette on your way past the commissary. 999 is in your office with 729. That's true. Well, we do know that SCP-999's interactions with that thing have resulted in it instantly vaporizing and apparating to another location. So I'm sure 999 will not be there for long. Because 999 is sensible and hates that abomination the same as the rest of us. Agent Shadow Wolf, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Dr. Lovelace, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of pecan pie on your way past the commissary. This would be why the O5 Council prized me as a researcher. I literally can't get, quote, emotionally compromised. Well, there is that. And there is a certain benefit to that lack of emotionality. There are also certain detriments. It's good to have a balanced aspect of emotional investment in your work. We don't want people being laissez-faire and reckless, after all. Ticketman, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Nutella cookie on your way past the commissary. Is Lunar Area 32 at risk of detection to Artemis? Well, clearly Artemis is, the whole project is going by taking some very high definition photos of the moon. But we are with the benefit that one of the astronauts is our person on the inside. And therefore, between that and our agents within NASA control, we will be, of course, redacting anything we don't want the public seeing along the way. Pimp Demon, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well. Go ahead and grab yourself some caramels on your way past the commissary. Meow. Well, meow to you too, I guess. Seif Captain, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Sleepless Dragon, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site 42. We appreciate your newly minted membership and service. Hallucinatory class entities, otherwise known as toons, unfortunately can escape the lack rooms. It was stupid and involved pies, anvils, and a kitchen sink. Oh yes, I'm sure at the end, the entity went straight down the drain, flushed, and ended up outside somehow. Toons are so annoying. Dr. Sherman, why do you consider SCP-5031 an it when he's employed as a chef, entertainer, and task force agent? Well, let me just go over to the SCP-5031 document. Even in its final test summary on November 29th, 2019, and I quote, final test summary. SCP-5031 was given 2 months to develop a 3-course meal to serve at Biosite 59 cafeteria for personnel working over Thanksgiving. Its selections were as follows. So, I do believe, by virtue of the documentation right here, I'm not the only one saying that SCP-5031 is still an it. It is still an it, because that's how it is properly terminated in the proper pronoun parlance protocols in its own documentation. You're welcome. Just like SCP-999, I can still refer to it as a good boy, and it still be an it. Dr. Vera Lovelace, thank you for donating in to say, oh, you know I'm fully invested in and love my work. Why else would I work 2 full shifts every day? Well, for one thing, because you don't have to sleep, so otherwise I imagine you would get bored. And I can't think of anything that scares me more than you being bored, actually. So yeah, that's fine. That is true. You literally cannot experience boredom. That is true, which makes it even more scarier if it were to happen. I'm just saying. Yes. Please be aware. Today is the desk attempting to quit smoking. It was making the lab a mess. However, that does mean our moderator in chat is grumpier than usual. Have caution. Teach me those trick shots with your pen, kind sir. Intern Broken. You have unlocked today's pen tutorial. It's been a minute. Hold the pen between your fingers. Wiggle it back and forth. When it gets horizontal, catch it in the next finger. Bam! There you are. Wiggle and catch. Wiggle, you can go over the top and catch, over the top and catch. Under, over, over. Under, over, over. Reverse it the other direction. Do it on both hands. Do it both ways. Get your bearings. Couple hours of practice, you'll be schmoovin'. Good luck. Could the pestilence be it from SCP-5000? Intern Roberts, I do believe that has been fairly debunked. SCP-5000 pestilence. For the same reason that we don't say the free will scenario is pestilence, because not every human is infected with the pestilence, and sometimes you don't have it and then you have it, like Dr. Raymond Ham. So the question is, what is the pestilence? Did humans have free will the whole time? If so, not this situation. Meanwhile, if you're talking about SCP-5000, that is an entity infecting the human noosphere, the knowledge of the collective of humanity. And so that did affect much more people than the pestilence does. Wait, I thought everyone had the pestilence? Oops. No, Intern Roberts, not everybody has the pestilence. Although, if it is discovered that you have the pestilence, so to speak, you should stay a hell away from 049. Because the only symptom of pestilence we've ever witnessed is getting ganked by that French frog. Hear me out, SCP-049, though. Intern Broken, we do not fraternize with the anomalies, and if that's how you're going to act, you will be put on Keter duty. Dr. Sherman, what was your first day like? Oh, intern Luna, I have been here at the Foundation for over 13 years now, and I have undergone so many different iterations of amnestic treatment for the different situations I've been privy to. Suffice it to say, I don't really recall my first day at the Foundation, although I am informed that it was a hell of a first day. I'm back. Damn you, Sherman. You got me doing the spinning pen pencil trick now. You're welcome, Opal. It's a cool trick. I'm happy to have inspired you. Orange Cloud, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a turducken sandwich on your way past the commissary. After getting special permission to go to the lowest level of the site and the elevator opens, shakes in fear. Dear God! Closes myself into the elevator. Boss, I think I know what happened on first. Yeah, but who's on second? Permission to hug SCP-999. Intern Carlson? You know what? Since SCP-999 was just in the room with that abomination, yes, I will grant you that permission. It probably needs a hug right now. Wait, how is your hair graying? We are not allowed to have hair dye. Have you got an unfortunate situation with an SCP? Intern Broken. I am the site director of Site 42. That means I run this joint. I also make the dress code. So if I say people can dye their hair, sue me. I mean, we have a freaking cat girl researcher. I'm not sure I'm worried about a little hair dye here and there. Are you? How would an infinitely sharp knife be contained or classified? If it was infinitely sharp, any movement would cause a nuclear explosion, asking for a friend. Well, intern Roberts, we have some pretty sharp swords. SCP-6572 is a sword labeled as being able to cut through anything. It is not affected by friction. SCP-6572 also appears to be resistant to high temperatures and pressures. So obviously, we could just stick this in a box because when it wasn't being moved, it was not a problem. The problem was that during a transfer, somebody dropped the sword and it landed face down. It then plowed through the entire Earth and came out the other side. It was a problem. And so, yes, SCP-6572, the sword that can cut anything, it left Earth's gravity well on September 12th, 2017. And so containment efforts are no longer necessary. It has been reclassified as neutralized. And whatever it pokes into next, that's going to be a problem. Our apologies to the Donald Duck at Disneyland that had been scattered across the park when it resurfaced on the other side of the planet. That was not great. I enjoy an entire chat coming to the O realization at the same time. This is very, very good deductive work you're doing, putting it all together. By the way, Site 42 staff, we are at the next 71. We are 71 minutes into today's stream, which leaves us another 19 minutes remaining. 19 minutes remaining. Also, by the way, it didn't just go through the planet once. It went through, all the way through, resurfaced, came back all the way through, and it just kind of bounced until it got to that last level. Orange Cloud, thank you for donating again to say. I meant April 1st, boss. Okay, I was giving a simple lecture on moon-based anomalies that day. Now, it seems a lot of the chat missed it because they were looking on some strange broadcast, but, I mean, we made up for it the next day. I'm at level 13, and it's absolutely flooded with Bang Bang. Boss, they're coming in. It's a bunch of clones of my Spring Brawny military droids and Crash. Well, I don't know why there's a bunch of military droids on level 13, but... Alright, can we get some sort of EMP ready and waiting to deactivate a bunch of Militech-style droids? That would be a good thing to get ready, security. Please work on any sort of robotic defenses we need on hand. Da, da, da. All right, that first SCP that I went over was longer than I expected. Normally, the shortest pages are pretty quick. But I do want to at least cover one more of these before we end out. So I'm going to look at what's next. All right, well, that's very short. Okay. Well, this is a Series 0 that we already covered. So that'll be a quick covering real quick. So recall, the next SCP on the shortest list is SCP-9773, codename Bloodsport. Now, as a reminder, we were looking at the shortest pages in the last 30 days, which is where we go to see some new SCPs. You could also choose, if you wanted to see the top rated pages in the last 30 days, or simply the straight-up new pages feed. But we're looking at shortest today so we can cover more material. And so, SCP-9773, codename Bloodsport, we read this over a couple days ago during the Series 0 run. And so this is a statuette that has some ruby eyes and a switch that makes it make people do murders. And so that is we already upvoted this one because we already read this one. Hooray for Series 0. Object recovered in 1984 from the estate of Earl Bruce in Brentwood, Los Angeles. Bruce was a popular American actor famed for his performance in westerns and for playing the lead role in Bloodsport, a detective procedural airing on NBC between 1972 and 1979. Bruce was active in local politics, standing as a candidate in the 1977 mayoral elections. Additionally, he was a collector of antiquities. Believe this is how he came into possession of 9773. Object is a statuette composed of an unknown alloy, approximately 26 centimeters in height, depicting an emaciated winged humanoid with exaggerated facial features. 2 red vitreous jewels are inlaid into the eye sockets. Operated via a switch inset in the vertebral column, red light momentarily emits from the object's eyes upon activation. Mammals observing said light experience extreme cognitive degradation. Subjects enter a state of uncontrollable rage, enacting violence on the surrounding environment with extreme prejudice. Condition is irreversible and will persist until death. If subjects are not terminated, they will commence self-mutilation when no other living targets are accessible. Prior to his death, Bruce was suspected by Los Angeles Police Department of organizing an illegal gambling ring, which they erroneously believed centered around dogfighting. So, it seems that our actor friend here started his own fight club with non-volunteer participants. Not great, but a good, short, sweet article that we upvoted the other day. So, popping back to the chat, because that was quick. Intern chat, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a... Well, you get nothing from the commissary because what you are seeing here is, sir, I dropped a baby down SCP-087? Why? For what purpose? Was it an accident? Did you requisition a baby D-class from the baby D-class preschool program? I mean, guys, we have orphans. You gotta figure this is part of the game here. Suffice it to say, you're going to need to go to your superior officer and answer for the situation. I want to see the report on my desk so we can decide how best to deal with you. Intern Alistair, welcome to today's stream. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Dr. Sherman, can we get a members check? Yes, the memberships have fallen far since our peak. At our peak, we were at about 1,700 members. We were cooking toward that 2,500 member goal. But now we're sitting at about 408. So we need to catch up. The memberships have fallen quite a bit. Wait, so what are all the goals we have? Well, when we were in the right ranking of where we were looking at 2,500 members for me to dye all of this pink and do pink hair set that time. And then the 5,000 member goal was to do the Cat Made Waifu Dimensions stream. Unfortunately, that's what you guys wanted. Now, it seemed feasible a while ago, and I am loath to change the number required simply because, A, giving up so easily is not our way, but secondarily, because the reason the goal was around 5,000 members is because that unlocks the maximum amount of custom emojis that YouTube allows you to have for a stream. YouTube makes it so that you have to have like 5 members for every emoji slot you can unlock or something stupid like that. And so by getting to 5,000 members, we would have fully unlocked all of the custom emoji slots, of which Junior Researcher Sally is still working on commissions for to make us some damn fine SCP and Site-42 themed emojis, some of which I'm very upset about after having looked at them. Too many of these anomalies, or too many of these emotes, seem to include a yellow, bunny-eared abomination that many of you seem to find entertaining despite how horrible it is. (5031) question continued. Is that not just the clinical tone? Even here at the AEED, we still follow that in most cases. So then I'm not sure what you're delineating. You're willing to follow the proper pronoun parlance protocols in documentation, but not in general parlance? Why do you make such a distinction? Why don't you just stick with one way and keep it uniform? Also, you should read 6105 since it's by C-dubs. Well, it is the third in line of the shortest pages in the last 30 days, so it is next in line. Why don't we do that after this donation here? Dean Cass, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of cherry pie on your way past the commissary. I finally got my level 2 clearance. Should I look out for any specific SCPs? Okay. I don't know. I just had an idea that I want to check on the database. Considering that we constantly have SCPs list their classification level, it's interesting that we don't have any sort of tag or way to search for SCPs by classification level. Like, these anomalies are level 1 classified, these are level 2 classified. These aren't listed because that document isn't worrying about it. Suffice it to say, I would want to make sure you only look at level 2 classified anomalies or below. That way you don't get in over your head. Intern Jerry, Siren Head is not an SCP. The Trevor Henderson creation Siren Head does not fulfill the 3 qualities that it takes to be an SCP. First, is it anomalous? Yes, Siren Head is anomalous. But is it on the SCP database? No. No. Now, some people are confused. There is a troll article named Siren Head where it's all one word, and that is a boat, an anomalous boat. But it was during the great Siren Head is an SCP mistake that the internet was making many years ago. And so, as a joke to troll people, this SCP author named their article Siren Head so that people would go, oh yeah, Siren Head is an SCP. But it's not. Because third and finally, Siren Head does not have its own SCP document. Again, there is the Siren Head is one word that is not actually Siren Head, the entity we're all talking about. Lol, it's fake. So no, Siren Head is not an SCP. But the SCP called Siren Head does exist, and it is a completely different entity from the one we colloquially refer to as Siren Head. Good day, sir. Or madam. Or theydom. Or item. Orange Cloud, thank you for donating again to say, I'm using an old military radio I found. I managed to get away from them. I don't know how long the battery will last. Send no one, do not. Not even the best of the best can handle the other things. Well, what are you going to do down there then? On your own? Are you about to do a Die Hard? Dude, get the security footage. Orange Cloud's about to do a Die Hard. Oh, this is gonna be so sick. Are you gonna go through the vents? Well, we need to set a camera drone at least so we can watch the action. Ooh, Orange Cloud in Die Hard with an anomalous vengeance. Sweet. All right, let's take a look at the third shortest SCP currently. A new shortest SCP, hot off the presses. Fresh SCP, here we go. SCP-6105, codename Just the Tip. I don't want to hear you tittering in the chat. This is serious business. Furthermore, illustration of SCP-6105 circa 1855. Let's have a look-see. Item number SCP-6105, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Maritime law enforcement agencies should be contracted to ensure that a 15-kilometer exclusion zone is maintained around SCP-6105 to prevent inadvertent observation. 2 patrol vessels are stationed near SCP-6105 to prevent unauthorized access. Alright, that's not too resource-intensive. That makes me happy. Description. SCP-6105 is an iceberg 225 meters in height and 376 meters in width, located in the Antarctic Ocean. Unlike normal icebergs, SCP-6105's entire mass floats on the surface of the water, rather than being mostly submerged. Interesting. An iceberg that has nothing underwater. You can just see it all. That's ironic. How are the iceberg beams going to handle this? SCP-6105 is only tangible to the human body and the ocean. Any other object or material will pass through SCP-6105 as though the space in question was occupied by air. Likewise, SCP-6105 can only be detected by unaided human senses. It does not appear on camera or in audio recordings and is imperceptible to other animals. Very, very interesting that that's a good reason to justify why there is a artist's rendering of the anomaly, because we can't take a picture of it. Sunlight is the only source of illumination that has an effect on SCP-6105's appearance. SCP-6105 is proven impossible to break, melt, or otherwise alter. Since its discovery in 1832, it has not changed in size, shape, or appearance. An English message is carved into the ice on SCP-6105's north face, which is transcribed below. Only humans can see this. Exploration of SCP-6105 has not identified any other noteworthy objects or features. Huh. So, it's an iceberg that only human beings can touch other than the ocean. So any birds or thrown objects will fall through it. Likewise, 6105 can only be detected by unaided human senses, so camera or audio recordings, and is imperceptible to other animals. So, can you see it if you're wearing glasses? Can you stand on it if you're wearing shoes? I guess if you're wearing shoes, and your shoes go through it because your shoes cannot contact the iceberg, then you'd be walking barefoot on the cold ice through your shoes, which would probably be uncomfortable for your tootsies. Huh. Interesting. Well, I will say, C-dubs, I was told that you wrote this, and that is just strange. Explain the Titanic, then. Well, what? Is this the iceberg that hit the Titanic? That would not be physically possible if things that cannot go through... What? The ship should go through the iceberg. What are you talking about? Huh. We've known where it is since 1832. It has not changed in size, shape, or appearance. And we made sure that nothing could go near it. So no, the Titanic didn't hit this. Only humans can see this. Feels a bit on the nose, don't you think? Otherwise, very nice concept, if a bit short. Edit. It's a meta commentary thing. I get it now. Well, I don't get it. I mean, I guess you would assume that if it's intangible, that probably birds can't see it and can't touch it, but humans can see it. Huh. Huh. Well, just like the previous article that we read in full, I'm confused. Hello, Puppy of Interest 42, Charlie. Agent, Cadet, Creature. Sorry, my brain is confused. Puppy of 42, why are you in this little nook where I can't grab you? You're making my life very difficult. If you want to be seen, you have to be lifted. Puppy of 42, Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, is here. Do you have the answer of the tip of the iceberg? Does it make sense to you? The answer is kisses? Is that what the answer is? This is not surprising. The answer is always kisses with you because you are Sweetie Pumpkin. You cannot lick my beard right now, though it's bad because I have beard conditioner. You can't have that. You cannot have that. It might taste very good, but it is not for babies. Run away, baby. And for mine allergies, my eye got better the other night after I accidentally touched my eye, though. So hopefully, with proper wipe, I will not have that problem again today. Don't immediately touch your eye, Dr. Sherman. That would be wise. All right, well, C-dubs, you confuse me as much as the previous article in way less words. So I will upvote. I appreciate your mysteriousness. Thank you. I'm now returning to chat to catch up on what I've missed. Orange Cloud, thank you for donating again to say. The floor has very little power, but if I can find a camera and manage to give it power, then I will. Beside that, you should be very glad of all people I came down here. I'm personally suited to these two enemy types. Well, best of luck on your rip-roaring adventure. I hope to see the footage. Intern chat, thank you for donating again to say, it's not Mr. Sherman, it's Doctor, please. I gave SCP-999 an iPhone 17 and a Nokia. SCP-999 is a slime. It does not speak. It does not have eyes or mouth. It is a 2 meter by 1 meter slime. What's it gonna do with 2 cell phones of varying product year? I don't know why you're doing what you did here. Desk is got me a little confused. Can you guys hear the ambiance? I've turned it off. I've turned it on. Noise suppression or something that YouTube must have added in. Community moderation, chat filter. No, I don't want any makeup effects. So you guys don't hear that. Intern Benson, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. That's very weird. Well, all sorts of little effects. I can put on a green screen or turn it off. I change the lighting. It just cut a clip for me. All right, so I can do a highlight clip if I really like something I do. I could put up a sticker or a poll. Settings, automatic chat, community moderation, block words, defaults. Well, really annoying that you guys cannot hear the music today. I'm sorry for the lack of ambiance. I mean, to be fair, at least for now, this is the end of stream. And maybe tomorrow the tech will work better. I apologize. But at least today, let me cover the last donations. And we'll sign off for today. We'll call it a good stream, and hopefully it'll work tomorrow. And so, double checking the Ko-Fi, we're clear. Well, Site 42 staff, I'm sorry the music isn't working, but hey, we went over some of the new SCPs on site. Now people who did not know where to find the new SCPs are able to go check them out. And so I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. And as always, at the end of stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Now, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherman's author page in Site 42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over from the SCPs I wrote, you can find a list of links. Links that people are often very interested in finding, but then once they hear the hints to where the links are, they don't go look. It's really sad since I just told you. But, hey, you know, it's all good. You guys in the Containment Hazard Assessment team, you'll find those links. And when you do, you'll be able to make your way to the Patreon or the YouTube channel memberships if you want to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat if you want to donate to us one at a time. Either way, we appreciate your direct donations to Site 42. They help us keep the lights on and maybe fix the tech issues that we're having. Jeez Louise. But either way, we appreciate your generosity in helping to support our goal. And if you are unable to donate because you're part of the Broke Gang, do not fret. We are well familiar with the Broke Gang, but you can still help us out by being members of Mobile Task Force Sci 42, codename Signal Boosters. And the Signal Boosters help us by hitting like, share, subscribe, comment, and chatting, not just on our streams and videos, but on the works we support outside of Site 42, the other SCP community projects, like the SCP Wiki's authors and artists, like all the filmmakers and animators on YouTube, like all the game devs or the podcasters, the merch makers. When you help the SCP community with engagement and funds, you are helping us to get bigger and better SCP projects out there, and we greatly appreciate your generosity in doing so. So thank you very much, Mobile Task Force Sci 42, for your service. Justin Cassandra Carlson, thank you for sending sparkles during my outro. I'm sure the chat feels quite bonita. Meanwhile, on top of which, hold on. I see. So yes, all's good. Now, without further ado, or chaos on this broken stream that you can't hear my ambiance. My favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, content warning, the last one is a rough read. Site 42 staff, this has been another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary on the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised, on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my ma got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." I whistled for a cab, and when it came near, the license plate said fresh and it had dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, nah, forget it, you're home to Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the cabbie, "You're home, smell you later." Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there, sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air. The credit song is the theme song of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I thought it appropriate since we have some hot and fresh SCPs today. But I did it to the tune of Baby Got Back, performed by Jonathan Colton. Yes, you do know that song, Amber. I know you do. So, Joko's Baby Got Back mixed with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So, be safe, be well, Site 42 staff. And as always, secure, contain, protect.